All right, everybody, boys and girls, men and women, everyone from all walks of life, we have reached the final destination in our first ever book read on the Life with Nick podcast and YouTube channel. This will be the last bit that I do on The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It has been an incredible book thus far, and I want to make sure we finish on a high note because there's a lot of good stuff in this, and the conclusion is as good or better than the most of the content that we have been covering. Real quick, just to introduce myself, if this is the first time that you're seeing me, my name is Nick Kleitch. I am the host of the Life with Nick podcast and also the Life with Nick YouTube channel. Part of my channel is reading a book a month, where I read a book, discuss it, just kind of share my thoughts. I don't necessarily read it word for word. I have been going chapter by chapter on this particular book because it's kind of laid out that way. But yeah, if you're somebody that likes reading books, if you're someone that likes personal development, or just me being able to entertain you, would love for you to join us next month for the next book read. If you're more on the fiction side of things with reading, totally understandable. May cover some of that in the future, but the first couple will be a little bit more personal development oriented. So just so you know. And then secondly, if you are seeing this video again for the first time, this is actually a playlist that I've produced. And so if you're interested in going out and buying this book, or if you're just interested in The Obstacle is the Way as a theme, feel free to go back to my YouTube channel and click on the playlist, and then you'll have access to all 32, roughly 33 strategic pieces within this book that you can kind of individually dive in or read along and kind of read with me. Last but not least, if you are interested in myself, the channel, podcasting, kind of, someone that cares about living a good life, self-improvement, educating oneself, being open-minded, all these kind of good things. And if you feel like you're part of that tribe, we'd love for you to subscribe to the page. Then that way you can obviously be posted on new things that come out. I do a podcast every month. I do a book read every month, and I vlog and a vlog post every month. So all good stuff, just my ability to kind of live life and hopefully, again, entertain you guys and teach you some cool shit along the way. So we are in the final portion of, again, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And what we will do here is cover two pieces to end this book. So what we just got done is covering the will portion of the book. The first section was perception, second section was action, and will was the final section. And so this is prompting us to say, prepare to start again, in the sense of all of that cycle. So one of the references that Ryan makes is that we have a 3-piece cycle that we need to work through when attacking obstacles to give ourselves the best shot. And this is prompting us saying, okay, we have done all of this and covered all of this. Now we need to prepare to start again, as obstacles are always coming up in our life and in our way. And so we're essentially rinsing and repeating this cycle all over. So just a little bit from the book here. Let me scroll on this. Sometimes I have some notes that I pull from here. Okay. So prepare to start again. The great law of nature is that it never stops. There is no end. Just when we think we successfully navigated one obstacle, another one emerges. But that's what keeps life interesting. And as you're starting to see, that is what creates opportunities. Life is a process of breaking through these impediments, a series of fortified lines that we must break through. Each time you learn something, each time you'll develop strength, wisdom, and perspective. Each time a little bit more of the competition falls away until all that is left is you and the best version of you. One does not overcome an obstacle to enter the land of no obstacles. On the contrary, the more you accomplish, the more things will stand in your way. There are already more obstacles and bigger challenge. Get used to it and train accordingly. Knowing that life is a marathon and not a sprint is important. Conserve your energy. So real quick here, just to break off, think of just the series of obstacles maybe that you've overcome this year, whether it was getting in shape a little bit, or conversations with your boss, or developing a new family relationship, or reviving one. All of these things kind of stack up and compound to give us an opportunity to build confidence as we are overcoming these obstacles. But most importantly, you must keep all of them in real perspective. Passing one obstacle simply says you're worthy of more. The world seems to keep throwing them at you once it knows you can take it, which is good because we get better at every attempt. never rattled, never frantic, always hustling and acting with creativity. Never anything but deliberate, never attempting to do the impossible, but everything up to that line. Simply flipping obstacles that life throws at you by improving in spite of them, or by improving in spite of them because of the obstacles, and therefore no longer afraid, but excited, cheerful, and eagerly anticipating the next round. Very cool. So we get through all of that to say that preparing to start again, and we're going to end this as kind of a two-parter, and the second part is the final thoughts on the book. And he begins the final thoughts with a case study in reference to Marcus Aurelius. I won't go into too much detail there. That is page 175 and 176. But I will kind of go from the tablet here and then come back to the book. So just bear with me a little bit. So obstacles within our path become the path. People will always make pointed remarks at us, cut us off in traffic and in life, rivals steal our business, we will be hurt, and forces will try to hold us back. Bad stuff will happen in life, unfortunately. But we can turn all of this to our advantage always. Even if our only option is to be a good person and practice forgiveness, which at its just baseline level, very, very important and very critical to be able to practice those things and to master them. The great people, the great businesses, just the greats in life, found obstacles in their path, as everyone does. They stared it down and leaned into their problems and or weaknesses and gave everything they had. If they didn't overcome the obstacles the way they intended, key point here, they individually emerged better and stronger. So we don't even have to defeat our obstacles the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. The attempt in and of itself to have a plan, to use perception, to use action, to use will, is what produces our individual next evolution, and we will emerge better and stronger. So to really round things out here, we're going to turn to page 178, and from there, this will guide us home. But people will I just read that. Oh, forgive me. Okay, here we go. Not everyone looks at obstacles, often the same ones you and I face, and sees a reason to despair. In fact, they see the opposite. They see a problem with a ready solution. They see a chance to test and improve themselves. Nothing stands in their way. Rather, everything guides them on the way. It is so much better to be this way, isn't it? There is a lightness and a flexibility to this approach that seems very difficult from how we and most people choose how to live. With our disappointments, resentments, and frustrations, we can see the bad things that happen in our lives with gratitude and not with regret, because we turn them from disaster to real benefit, from defeat to victory. Fate does not have to be fatalistic. It can be destiny, and it can be freedom just as easily. There is no special school that these individuals attended, meaning the kind of the grades we were talking about. Nothing that they do is out of reach of what we can potentially do, which should be very encouraging. Rather, they have unlocked something that is very much within each and every person. Tested in the crucible of adversity and forged in the furnace of trial, they realized these latent powers, the powers of perception, action, and the will. With this triad, they first saw things clearly for what they were. They then acted correctly. And finally, they endured and accepted the world as it is. Our actions give us confidence to ignore or control our perceptions. We prove and support our will with our actions. As someone who transforms fear into prudent pain into information, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking, it's a loop that becomes easier over time. To be sure, no one is saying you got to do it all at once. We gather strength as we go, which was one of my favorite quotes in this passage. We gather strength as we go, as we're developing the ability to overcome obstacles. That's how it works. That's our motto. In mastering these three disciplines, we have the tools to flip any obstacle upside down. We are worthy of any and every challenge. Of course, it's not enough to simply read this or say it. We must practice these maxims, rolling them over and over in our minds and acting on them until they become muscle memory, so that under pressure and trial, we get better, become better people, better leaders, better thinkers, because those trials and pressures will inevitably come, and they won't ever stop coming. But don't worry, you're prepared for this now, this life of obstacle and adversity. You are schooled in the art of managing your perceptions and impressions. Like Rockefeller, you are cool under pressure, immune to insults and abuse. You see the opportunity in the darkest of places. If you recall him in the perception portion, being able to navigate many major market crashes, none like we've ever seen today, with a lot of poise and being able to learn from others' mistakes. You're able to direct your actions with energy and persistence. You assume responsibility for yourself, teaching yourself, compensating for disadvantages, and pursuing your rightful calling and the place in the world. You are iron-spined and possess a great and powerful will. Like Lincoln, you realize that life is a trial. It will not be easy, but you are prepared to give it everything you have regardless, ready to endure, persevere, and inspire others. The names of countless other practitioners escape us, but they dealt with the same problems and obstacles. Their philosophy helped them navigate those successfully. They quietly overcame what life threw at them and, in fact, thrived because of it. They were nothing special, nothing that we are not just as capable of being. What they did was simple, not easy. But let's say it again, just so we remind ourselves. And this will be the final piece here on the first book read, which is exciting. See things for what they are, do what we can, endure and bear what we must. What blocked the path is now the path. What once impeded action advances action. The obstacle is the way. Whew, gotta love that. So, just to round things out on my end, I just want to thank you guys for being able to read this book with me if you so choose, or if this was an entertaining enough strategy and episode for you to go buy the book, I'd highly recommend it. One last thing on this. Ryan Holiday has written many, many good books on Stoicism, and I would leverage this book as a way of a daily reading, so to speak, where you would take a strategy, let's say that's maybe a couple pages, and you'd study it for the day and then kind of read through his work, or at least that's how I would perceive it anyway. And I feel so often that as you're reading it and life's struggles come up in this particular context, it always had the right kind of timing to give me what I needed. So thank you guys again for sticking it out and hanging out with me. If, again, you want to subscribe for the next book, please go ahead and do so. But until next time, guys and girls, I appreciate it.